Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. By the time you're viewing this, we may already be over the 30,000 subscriber mark. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I never thought I'd even have one person that wanted to watch this channel. And if you go all the way back to the videos in the beginning, when we really started forming the channel, it was me and a notepad and a router, no talking, and it was just straight up configs, and here we are today. So I thank you to each and every one of you. Now, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to take our original cloud key. It's got a configuration on here, and it's just got a USG adopted, but it could have any number of devices adopted to it. And we're going to migrate it over to the new cloud key Gen2 Plus, and this is the last video we did where we gave you an introduction to this device. So we're going to migrate from the regular USG to this, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to set up Unify Protect, and we are going to do a tour of that, look at all the options, and see how a transition from Unify Video to Protect may happen. So we're not actually going to do that, but we're going to kind of contrast and compare where things are at today, kind of the state of what is with Unify Protect. So let's hop on over to the computer and get to it. All right, so here we are. We've got both of our cloud keys. This is the Gen 1, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to sign into this guy. And you can see we've got our USG adopted. The current site is Super Rad Cloud Key. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down to maintenance, and we are going to download a backup. So our Super Rad Cloud Key just downloaded the backup right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hop over here to the Cloud Key Gen 2 Plus. We are going to click on the actually, before we do that, let's go ahead, and since we're under maintenance and this is our cloud key, if you are on the same network, now remember this is on the same network, so if it's in a different network, it's going to be very similar. One of the things that you want to remember is that if you've got specific things bound to, so if you're doing port forwarding from the outside to your cloud key, you know what, let's do that. Let's set that up real quick. So let's come in here, routing and firewall, and we're going to go into firewall. I didn't shut this down yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to port forwarding, and we're just going to say Unify Inform, and anywhere, and it's port 8080 and 192.168.1.56, okay, TCP. So what we did is this is our Inform port, and this is a very common setup for a lot of you that have the cloud key. So we've got this port forwarding, so what we're going to have to remember to do is we're going to have to remember to change the IP on this. So real quick, let's go back down to maintenance. We'll grab a new backup. So let's do settings only, and we'll download the backup. It'll spin for a second and then spit out the new backup. So there's our new backup file. So now we're over here to the new cloud key. So we're going to click Unify SDN Setup. And of course we don't have an SSL certificate, which you may have already seen the video, or it may come after this one, but there have been some changes to either Java or UniFi in the way it parses SSL certificates. And so a lot of you are getting errors trying to import your certificates into the new version of UniFi. So I will have either released by the time you see this, or I will be releasing a new video on that. All right, so our Unify setup wizard is here. We're gonna restore from our previous backups. We're gonna click this. We're gonna select that backup file, and then we're going to let it restore. So we've selected the backup file, and do you want to restore? Confirm. So this guy is going to go ahead and be restoring. In the meantime, I'm going to cruise on over here. I'm going to shut down my Gen 1 cloud key because I can't have two controllers with, online at the same time. That'll cause some issues, especially if they're in the same network. Because a lot of times when you're in the same network, you're not using that FQDN. You're just, because it's broadcasting the UniFi discovery, a lot of things get adopted that way. So Gen 1 is going to be, and it actually already is, it is already powered off. Here it is. I just unplugged it. So we're going to go from the Gen 1, and you can see that this says, please wait, the system is being restored. So we'll wait for this to be restored, and we will be right back. All right, so our backup has been restored to our new cloud key. So we are going to log in here. And you can see now we are logged into 192.168.1.55, which is our new cloud key. And we had that port forward. So what we've got to do is we've got to go into the settings. And we've got to go into our routing and firewall. We've got to go to our port forwarding. And we have to change that 56 to a 55 to match, because it does not do that automatically. But that's it. That's how easy it was to migrate from the same site, and it's a similar setup even if it's remote. I mean, wherever your cloud key is at, you just have to remember to swap it out. If you've got an SSL certificate, you need to copy the key store file from the old one to the new one. But you have to remember to change your port forwardings as well. So now let's take a look at UniFi Protect. Now, this is the first time I've set this up on this box, so we're going to go ahead and click Setup. It's going to open a new tab, and it's going to have the Setup You're in VR screen. And it says Setup takes less than a minute. So let's name this. We're going to call this Willie. Alright, we will just call this Willie Protect. We're in the Central Time Zone. I agree to the end user license agreement. Everybody reads the EULA, right? So next, and we're going to create an account. And we are going to add the UVC G3 Flex here. So we'll go ahead and click Add Selected Camera. And I am going to skip linking this to the Ubiquiti Cloud. It says we're all set up. So it is now updating the camera. And this is the UVC Flex. Ubiquiti did send this camera to me. And they sent me a couple other. They sent me something else I can't talk about because it was in beta. So this camera is going to update. Now, this is the new interface, and you can see it's pretty slimmed down. We've got our camera view, which we have here, and you can filter, link state, the type of camera. So this is a G3 Flex. So if we had other types of cameras, we could filter by those. Over here there's a search, and looks like different ways to display. So we've got a list, we've got a grid, and then we've got a add camera. So if we have the wireless camera, we would click this to add that. There are no cameras found that are not being managed. Up here it has the NVR name, and then if we click our little person, we get the log out option. Now you can see the UVC G3 Flex is online. Over here I can restart it, or I can unmanage it. It's connected at 100 megabits, and I don't have any last motion yet. So we can click on it. If we click on it, you can see it brings up this screen. A somewhat similar screen. So it shows us last motion, connected time, uptime, MAC address, bitrate, host. So you have the overview, everything there. That's pretty familiar. Then we have the general tab on the camera. It's got the name. We can turn the LED on the camera on or off. We can change what is displayed. So you've got the on-screen display, the timestamp, or the watermark, and then we have our video quality. So here you can see by default it is 15 frames per second at 3000K bit rate. Manage, we can unmanage. We can mess with the RTSP stream here. You can see that none of those are turned on. We can also restart the camera. And then here we can add a motion zone or a privacy zone. So if we add a motion zone, we can come in here and adjust this. So that we want motion in this area to be, I'm going to have to zoom this out real quick. We'll save that zone. That's the default zone. Now we could add another zone. We could also add a privacy mask. So if we add a privacy mask, what's going to happen is wherever we mask the privacy zone, that is where it will not record. So I haven't actually configured one of those yet on here. It doesn't appear to be too difficult. If we want to add the privacy zone, it will not record. Nothing will show on video within this zone. You can see how it is blanked out. So that's kind of nice. So if we click here, this big play button on this, it's going to bring up a live stream. You can see the voicemail button there. I can run my hand in front of the camera, and you can see how that you can see the privacy mask. Let me see. Privacy mask is right there. Yep. Alright, so here we can move the camera around. Looks like we can mute it, unmute it. Then we've got all of the same controls. So brightness, contrast, hue, saturation. I'm not going to read these to you. People get upset when I read things that are obvious. So I am not going to do that. But it's the same options that you have on your cameras in Unify Video. But you can see this is a very sleek interface, whereas Unify Video is a little bit bulkier than this. Alright, over here we have our live view, and we have no live view, so we're going to add one, and we'll call this Willie's live view, and we're just going to do the one camera. But you can see it goes all the way up to 26 cameras, which the NVR that it's on now only supports, or they recommend 20 cameras, but there's a 26 camera view, so maybe this is going to run on the Unify application server. I don't know. But we will go ahead. Oh, and here is something that you can't do, or you couldn't do the last time I checked in Unify Video, was share a view with other users, because that would have been super duper handy. We'll go ahead and click next, and then we're going to drag our camera over there, and we'll click save. And now we have that live view here on the screen. We can edit the live view. We can go full screen. And once again, you can see the privacy mask is right there. Alright, then over here we have our thumbnails. You can see this is from Motion. So if I click on that, brings it up. You can replay it. You can take a still, adjust the audio. We can go full screen, or we can download. So if I hit download, you can see it downloads it as an MP4 over there. So that's pretty nice. Tells us the time and date. Okay, so then what we've got here is we've got users. We can add a user. We're going to add a user. We'll call it Willie. And I'm not going to connect NVR to cloud and invite people by email right now. We're going to click add user. And you can see it added me, and it added me as an administrator, permission administrator. So under general, all I have is my username. Under manage, I can remove the user. So this is one area. It looks like they're probably still under development. At this point, you only have two different user classes. You have super administrator and administrator. So I would have to think that they're going to update that so that you can, you've got similar permissions that you do on Unify Video. If they don't add that, then a lot of us aren't going to be able to deploy this in a corporate environment. So I'm hoping that that's coming. Under settings, let's see, we've got general. So this gives us our controller information, so we can change the name here. We got our uptime, we've got our owner, device password, we've got our Cloud Key Plus information, so that's kind of nice. Updates, so I can enable automatic controller updates. I'm not going to do that, but I did check for updates. We can also join the beta program, so there is what Ubiquity's calling an edge case out there with some of the pro cameras. They can't join Protect, so what you have to do is you have to, or what Protect is trying to do is it's trying to log into the cameras with the wrong username and password. So you have to stop Protect, you have to log into the camera, put them in NVR mode, point them towards your Unify Protect box, then turn it back on and you're able to adopt it. But it'll actually lock out the default UBNT account. So that's the update screen. Cloud configuration, like I said, I don't have that enabled. And then we've got advanced. So it looks like we can download a support file. We can import a controller settings, and it looks like that we can import settings from a previous Unify video, which is nice, or a Unify Protect NVR, so we can migrate from machine to machine. We can do a factory reset, so that's nice. And I think that's it. So it's a very slim down interface. But let's take a look at this. So this camera is 192.168.1.57. And the one thing that I'm wondering here too. Alright, so this is the actual camera interface. So it does change the camera password. So when I did the Pro, it didn't, but it looks on the Flex that it does change the password, and under the settings you saw that there was a where was that at? General, no, hold on, somewhere here there was a you saw it. There was a setting that said camera, device password, yeah, is right here. So that is my device password. So let's see if I copy and paste this in. Yeah, so that is definitely it, but it's already connected, so I'm not going to run through this setup again. So there it is. Like I said, I do think it's a pretty savvy business move on Ubiquity's part. I do not think that they're going to release this on Raspberry Pi. I would never run this on a Raspberry Pi. They have purposefully, they built this hardware specific to run these applications. So I don't think you should run this on any lesser hardware. And I think part of the problem that they've had is that they do let people take their software and load it on any hardware, and then there's problems, and then they have to try to support it. So I totally get what they're trying to do, and it makes sense. But they're off to the races here. Obviously, a couple things that they're going to have to address. The permissions, that's going to be huge for people in corporate environments that have actual policies and procedures, and have auditors and things like that. Other than that, it looks like we're off to a pretty good start here. I'm gonna join a few more cameras to this, and see. I'm probably actually gonna transition from my Unify video to this, since it's in the lab. And I've got 3 Flex cameras, and I've got UVC G2, which I'll move over, and then I've got 3 of the G3, the standards, that I will throw on this guy and we will run it and see what happens. And of course I'm going to be running that Reolink at the same time, but I'm not mixing those systems. So if you've got one of these, check it out. I don't think there's anything else. We've covered everything so far. So, you know, the next step in this is to kind of punish this thing and see what it's going to put up with. Now, interesting fact is on the top of this. I don't know if this will reach where you can see it or not, but there is, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Let me. So on the top, there's this LED, and you can see right here that it's blue. Now, when I imported the Unify configuration, this was still white, and this light didn't go blue until Protect was set up. So I don't know if it was waiting for all of the applications to be set up or specifically Protect. I can't answer that. I can't answer that question. Oh, and there goes my flex camera. So we'll see how tough that guy is. Let's hop back over there and get the live view here. Bring this up. And it's live. And this is pretty durable. Took about a 3-foot splash there. And still working good, so we'll see if it's still working in a week. But that's all I wanted to show you. Make your own judgments, ask your own questions. There is one more quick thing. There is a new procedure for installing that SSL certificate, and I think I talked about that a little bit. So there will be a video on that. Whether it's released before or after this, I don't know, but that is very... it's on the short list to get done. If you're interested in UniFi Protect, I would say for the price of this at $199, and if you've already got Ubiquiti cameras and you're not running it in an environment where the permissions are going to cause you an issue, try it out. You got any questions? Put them down in the comments and I will try to answer those for you. Alright, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to talk to us on Discord, the link is down below. Link to our Patreon subscription is down below as well. If you want to buy any of the gear that you see here on the channel, the Amazon link is down below as well. And if you've been watching the channel, you'll know that Geek Dives is our new podcast, and that's also out, and the link to that is below as well. Once again, from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.